Thank you so very much, Ms. Georgia. That was quite informative. And again, going back to your budget sheet, if you want to look at what you owe your debt, you want to write it all down on this budget sheet so that you can check it. You want to go and get your free credit report. We've given you a booklet that kind of gives you that information. I believe it's on page 3, and it has all the numbers that you can call and get your credit report. You do need to have, for these programs and to purchase, you need a minimum of a 620 credit score. And 675 is about the national average. However, you would really like to get a 620 credit score. Again, I had mentioned one of the programs is with BBVA Bank. They're a bank out of Texas and Colorado, and they're trying to get into the California market. And in doing so, they've come up with this program, which is their program, their own monies, to get you with no money down, no down payment, and $4,500 toward those closing costs that I mentioned. So now that we have your credit scores at 620, you've gotten with the lender, and now the lender says, okay, you are approved, call your realty group, get with one of the agents, and go find the property. What we do is we get an idea of what you're looking for. Say you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a particular area. You call me and I set you up on what I call a daily drip. What that is I will put a certain amount of criteria in the computer, and every day you will be getting an email in regarding to those properties. You see a property that you're interested in, there's a system in there where you can put a heart on it. It will email me back and let me know that this is the property that I'm interested in. We then go out and we look at the property. And then you finally say, oh my goodness, this is it. This is the home that I want. What do I do now? The first step you would do is what we would write, what we call a purchase contract. It is a binding contract between you and the seller once everybody signs and agrees on a particular sales price. Now there will be some upfront fees that you will have to come up with. Okay, so let's get that. The beginning is what they call a good faith deposit. That is usually anywhere between $1,000 and $2,500, depending on the sales price of the home. Consider that as kind of like putting something in layaway. Is everyone here familiar with layaway? How layaway works? Okay, so you're more or less giving the seller this down payment or this good faith money and say, if you hold this house for me, I'm going to come back with the rest. The rest being the appraisal. The appraisal runs between $400 and $500. What the appraisal does is guarantees the price of that property to verify that that property is actually worth the $200,000 that we're making an offer on. It may be more or it may be less. If it comes in more, that's good for you because now you have a little equity. If it comes in less, then we go back to the table to the seller and say, look, you were selling this house for $200,000, but actually it's only worth $175,000. And the bank is only going to loan you what the property is valued at. Now, if you want to come in with the difference, that's something that you would have to negotiate. But primarily as your realtor, I would not advise that at all. The second thing would be a physical inspection. A physical inspection checks the house for the roof, the plumbing, the heating, the electrical. Although that is an optional item, I always suggest that you do that. And that can range from $350 and up. Then you have what they call the credit report, which you have to give through the lender, which sometimes you have to pay that up front, and that can range anywhere from $50 to $75. So these are going to be your upfront monies. Of course, you know, when you put this house technically in layaway, that money that you put in there is going to be subtracted from what the lender tells you the total amount of money that is going to be needed at the end of the transaction. So let's just say we put an offer in on this property. We write up this contract, we submit it to the seller. The seller says, yes, I will accept your offer. What happens next? We go into what you call escrow. The escrow company is the neutral party between the buyer and the seller. They more or less handle all of the paperwork between you and the seller. The contract is going to state some particular items. The contract is going to be somewhat generic in its appearance because it'll have other things on there that might not necessarily pertain to you. Escrow's job is to pull all that information out of the contract and put it in what they call instructions. Many of you might have heard that term, escrow instructions. What escrow instructions mean is instructing the seller and the buyer what you two have agreed upon. At that point, The average time for a sale, also let me say this, is anywhere from the beginning is from 30 to 45 days. Within that time period, you should have gotten your appraisal, done your inspection, been in escrow, and had your loan approved. The lender is going to call me at the end and say, hey, Yolanda, I've got formal loan approval. I know you're probably confused because you said, well, Yolanda, you told me earlier I had approval. You have loan approval in reference to you to purchase a home, but the home and you must qualify. And when I say qualify, the house has to meet certain guidelines in reference to safety and sanitation for it to be approved for this loan also. You finally got your loan approval, you're done. So now they call me and say we do what we call our final walkthrough. We go back through the house and make sure it's still standing there and make sure it still has the appliances or whatever it is you asked for. Once that's complete, we sign off. You go in and you sign what they call your formal loan document. That is the paperwork that you're going to sign that you promise to pay back. That $200,000 over a period of 30 years will end up probably paying back $450,000 based upon the interest. But after that point, they will call me and say, Yolanda, this file has funded. What that means is that the money has changed hands. And then they'll say, Yolanda, it has recorded. So it has finally come out of that seller's name into your name, and I meet you there with a bottle of apple cider or champagne. We pour a little in the ground for those who didn't buy a house that day, and you get your keys. I know that process sounds truly, truly simple, but the bottom line is we are all here to achieve that goal. The banks, the credit associates that we have here, myself, my associates, Home Buyer Workshop Inc., all of us are here under one roof to get you the goal of home ownership. If you have any questions, you need to call us direct. We are here for you. We want you to get this goal. It is so very important that we have a home ownership. It is very important that you leave something for your children's children. It's when you're renting a place, you're at the whims of that landlord. Of course, if the landlord decides to go up in the rent, you don't have any choice. You have to pay the rent or you have to move. The thing with home ownership, if you want to paint or put in a beautiful garden outside, you have that ability. If you want to have a dog, you can have pets. You know, if you want to paint your living room and the outside purple and polka dot, you're able to do that, unless you're in a gated community. Sometimes they don't really care for that too much. But the bottom line is you have a pride of ownership. You have something that is yours, something that you get up in the morning that you work for, and that you can come home and say, this is mine. And that is truly, truly each and every person's goal here today, is to get that and accomplish that and hand you keys. Now, I normally ask everyone to please take out of your pocket, if you have some keys. Do you have keys? Can everyone take out keys out of their pocket for me? Just take them out for a second. Everybody got them out? Okay, now shake those keys. I want to hear them. I want to hear them shake them keys. All right, very good. What I want you to do is when you go home today, I want you to take your door key, and when you stick it in the door, I want you to visualize that this is your home. You know, that those are your glass doors. You know, that's your brick porch. And those plants and everything, you know, go to Home Depot, walk around, picture yourself purchasing the different kind of paint you would like, maybe certain kind of tile. You know, they have those samples that you can have, and put around the house just to give yourself visual positive reinforcement. Okay, you can do this. We're here to help you. This information is free. We're not asking you for anything. Please feel free to give us a call. Our number is 877-508-6100, and that's in your packet here. You have that information. And we will be able to direct you to whoever it is that you need.